Thank you for joining Unfiltered Gup-Shup's another podcast. I welcome all my audience and the people behind the screen. I see so many known faces around me, and I wanted to thank AB Photos, family, and the Supreme God who allows me to do a lot of things which I work for. So welcome, Mr. Sam, to the Unfiltered Gup-Shup's podcast. I am so glad that you agreed for this podcast. I wanted to introduce you to our audience. First of all, Mr. Samudra is known as Mr. Sam, and he is founder of Sam IT Solutions and multiple other startups. So I wanted you to introduce more about yourself to the audience.
First of all, thank you, Aditi, for this opportunity to talk to your audience and talk about my story. So, as many others like us in the US who are immigrants, we came with a dream. I came here as a graduate student to do my PhD at MIT. Back home, I had done mechanical engineering and from Jodhpur and Masters in Nuclear Engineering from IIT Kanpur.
Awesome.
After that, I taught for several years engineering subjects, mostly mechanical engineering, power generation related. And 99, I landed in Boston to start PhD at MIT. And 2005 is when I finished, and both me and my wife moved here in Research Triangle Park area. And I worked based on my PhD work, which was in the area of energy and environment, where I had the privilege of being a student of a Nobel laureate, Professor Mario Molina, who is credited for identifying the root cause of the ozone hole. So that was a big opportunity for me to work with some really amazing, accomplished people. And when I moved here, I was working at the Environmental Protection Agency as 4Eyes Research Fellow, doing mathematical modeling. So for 4 years I did that, but as Indians go, I probably should stand like it stands for Indians, it stands for IT too. So sometimes you have to go back to your roots to help your innovation or innovative nature come out. And it so happened that my wife, who is a physician, I saw her constantly struggling with some or other IT challenges and issues, because in India, physicians are not necessarily very skilled, at least in those days, in the technology sector. So I was helping her and slowly started helping her friends. So in many ways, she was the root cause of why I thought that this was a good opportunity where I could make my mark as an entrepreneur. So Sam IT was born out of this necessity and my own interest in tinkering with technology pieces in 2009. And the rest is history. So we have just completed 15 years in existence for Sam IT Solutions. Thank you. And about 2 years ago, I decided that it was time for me to step back from day-to-day operations. And we had a brilliant young guy, Jamie Pleasance, who is a native North Carolinian, and he took over the reins of Sam IT Solutions as CEO. And that actually has helped me focus on pursue my passion, which is basically entrepreneurship, innovation, and creative things. And we have a fantastic team that has helped me actually realize my dream, and they do all the hard work. I just come up with ideas or help support them. So we have Varidx, as you see here. I'm a co-founder with Abhi Muthian of Varidx, which is a smart city platform. Smart city platform essentially allows you to bring in data from multiple sources and make it available not only for public, so they can benefit from sensors, IoT technology, and all cool things that are happening in the world. But it also helps the city and town administrators and managers to see and manage the facilities, manage various parks and recreation centers or other things. So the idea is you merge two pieces, information technology with the sensor technology, the cloud. So all three, when they come together with data analytics and now artificial intelligence, helps better decision making, helps you do things that were not possible previously. Ultimately, whatever you do should result in something tangible for all human beings, all of us. And that tangible thing is improving our quality of life. For example, if I wanted to go and play tennis today, using Varidx app on your phone, you could check for town of Morrisville which tennis courts are open or available for you to go and play. Or which pickleball courts, which is again a sport which is growing like wildfire. Right?
Pickleball.
So you could go and play pickleball. But if you drive all the way there and find that the courts are occupied, it can be very disappointing. Especially pickleball players are very passionate. And it has resulted into some pickleball fights. There used to be bar fights. Now there are some pickleball fights that are happening. And but if you know in advance that the field is available or it's occupied, you can make decisions that will allow you to not make a trip and or go to another place where there is an opening. There are lots of facilities available. So this saves time for citizens, improves your quality of life, makes it more sustainable. You didn't have to make the trip, waste gas and energy going there and coming back. So similarly, other technology pieces we have implemented for. So you mentioned about the startups. So there are two other startups. Wanted to mention Analytic Solutions. Which does electrical engineering related work, which is led by another brilliant young man called Suraj and Rajiv. And we have eBox Chain, which is also incubated, kind of housed here in our ecosystem. And that company is like Uber for prescription delivery. So that means pharmacies can assign those prescriptions to our delivery system or platform, and our network of drivers that are our employees deliver those in a timely fashion, so making the whole thing more efficient.
Very awesome.
So sorry for the very long answer to a very short question.
No, we got a lot of information without asking few questions. So what were the biggest challenges you faced when building up your company and how you overcome them?
So entrepreneurship can be quite tricky for many people, especially if we do not come from a family background where business has been done, in the past by generations. And I had literally zero experience of doing in my family. Everybody was like in a job. My father was an engineer, mother was a teacher. So never had that opportunity, but there was always interest to create something new. Do something, and that's American dream, right? And it was always there somewhere in the backdrop, and my wife and her job allowed me to take that risk. Because entrepreneurship can take you in two directions. You start a business, and majority of businesses fail within first year. And many of them fail in 3 years and 5 years. So there was a very high probability that I will fail, but luckily I had the support I needed to succeed, and we did have this. It took me a while, and when I left Environmental Protection Agency as a research fellow, I had the opportunity because I was working on some mathematical models which were used in policy making. So my boss asked me if I would like to continue working with them as a consultant. That helped me bridge that gap and eliminate the risk. Biggest challenge was having zero experience, figuring everything out from the scratch. But I think you have to have that interest. You will find passion,
and moral support, which was you were getting from home.
I was definitely getting support. Although we did have when I didn't make any money in third year, we would have a sit down talk and should we continue this path or not.
Okay.
Eventually, that talk helped me focus more on converting my passion into revenue, because it was not going to continue like that. So
Okay. So how do you stay motivated during tough times and setbacks?
So, biggest challenge as I see in our business, we are primarily in services business, have constantly been trying to be a product company. These are completely different things.
Mm-hmm.
And I advise most people to pursue one way or the other. Making a product or building something is much more risky, and typically it's better to have some sort of investors or investment support and backing.
Mm-hmm.
We started as a service company.
Mm-hmm.
And we're constantly trying to make it into a product company, because growth opportunities are much more in product companies. You really can make it big.
Mm-hmm.
In services, it's really your people that make it happen. People, processes, things like that.
Supporting.
But upside is, relatively speaking, very limited. So we have constantly tried and failed several times.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the nature of the beast.
Yes, you learned.
Or sometimes don't. But continue to find new ideas.
Yes.
That's how we just shut down another initiative we had last month, which we were running for almost a year.
Okay.
The creative brain behind that was one of our colleague, Martin, and he decided, hey, it was time to call it.
Okay.
So again, do not hesitate and do not shy away from taking the risk, but know what is the potential downside and if you can afford to lose.
Yeah.
So we knew when we were getting into that kind of venture that it has very high likelihood of failure. And when it did happen, we accepted it and moved on. See whatever we can do.
That's nice. So what strategies do you follow to have it effective things to get it all done?
So I don't think there can be something which can be summarized in like 3-4 bullet points. It really a few things. Something you want to do which you are passionate about, right? Then it is much easier for you to wake up in the morning, go and do it every day. If it becomes a chore, or if you start dreading, oh my God, I have to go to office, do this again. I would urge everybody who's going through that phase, once in a while it happens to everyone.
Yes.
But if that's the daily thing, you really need to take a step back, think about what is it that you really want to achieve or get out of yourself. So you could change course of your life. I know everybody has to pay bills, so you have to go to work and do what needs to be done. But still, like you're doing in your part and pursuing this as a passion. So continue to build that passion. So there's a famous saying, I don't take credit. If you love what you do, then it's much easier. You can.
Yes, I do love what I'm doing right now. So what role has networking and mentorship helped you in pursuing your passion?
Right from my graduate school, especially coming to the US, I had opportunity to learn from my colleagues and teachers, mentors every day. And I think I was a decent sponge. I did try and absorb as much as I could right from when I came here. I thought I was a good creative writer. And my first term paper I wrote, which I thought was pretty decent. And my professor sent me to a creative writing coach. He said, this is terrible. She said, yeah, it's terrible. And I'm like, okay, I thought I was a decent writer, made it all the way with GRE and everything else. So I took it in stride, went to that creative coach, understood the key changes in the writing style that are, because in India we follow the British pattern of English, long with sentences, complex verbiage, which a lot of times obfuscates the meaning of what you're trying to say. Here the style is very different and direct, talk about things directly, do stuff, and say what you really mean. Don't go circle in circle. So, especially in technology, so I learned. And after that, when I came to work at EPA, my colleagues, some fantastic people, one of them, Professor Joe DeCarolis, my boss and mentor, Dr. Ravi Srivastava, were great folks who influenced me and helped become more rigorous in doing things. So I think they have really played a key role, some of these folks. And then I learn every day from my colleagues here from at MIT.
Every day is a learning day, definitely, for everyone. Yeah. So can you share a failure or a mistake that taught you the one valuable lesson?
I just mentioned one, we just failed again. So on the product side, I can talk about it. Services is relatively speaking easier to start because your downside is fairly limited. If you are, for example, working in a company, you notice that there is a problem that they are in a given domain, they are having difficulty in solving. You could come out as a consultant or a business owner and start to help solve that problem as a service provider. Now, service provider, they will engage with you or not. If they engage you, probably you'll start to get paid within 30 to 90 days if you start working. Whereas if you undertake developing a product, then I would recommend, unless you have some financial backing from an investor or you have a good team of folks, it's quite risky to undertake that. So I would say don't do that without knowing what you are getting into. And you, of course, high risk, high reward is always the case. And the other problem is when you start like services business, you are used to getting that cash flow. So converting services business into a product business is very different and difficult. And my colleague Abhi can tell you lots of stories about that. The two require very different mindset, very different ability to sustain your passion business. You will keep listening, but keep knocking on the doors, continue to identify the product market fit, pricing, getting feedback early on from the customers, and don't give up. Although at some point you have to say, okay, this has been enough. Like I mentioned about one product we were working on called Smart Safety Mesh. Very cool, innovative idea. Martin Shrestha and Nathan, a young kid, they had come up with, and we provided incubator space, helped build whatever infrastructure was needed to get it off the ground, and they developed it, but did not find enough market. And in about a year and a half, they said, okay, we're going to move on to do something different, and shut it down. So you learn from it. And at the same time, as they say, and this is again nothing original, they say fail fast. So do that, although I don't follow that personally. I continue as long as I can sustain and survive.
So how do you handle the pressure and competition?
So I think, especially in services business, we pretty much see like win every day, in the sense that you solve a customer's problem where they say, oh my God, you saved my day. And you get instant gratification that, yes, I made it. And that keeps you going. So you get hooked to like alcohol or drugs that give you a high. And for us, getting this satisfaction of doing something that was immediately able to help lessen the pain of a client, either improvement in a workflow, solving a technical challenge, a networking problem, a ransomware attack, any of these things. We say, yes, we did it. So that keeps us really going. That's like coffee.
So how do you balance innovation and staying true to your core business values?
So there's no conflict really in innovation and in the core business, because the way I have finally figured out is the core business, which is our IT business. It is run by another competent gentleman with help of a very smart people on the team. Denver is our chief service delivery. We call it technical operations manager.
Okay.
And then there's Caroline High, and there are other folks on the team who do fantastic job.
Okay.
So much so that customers specifically ask, saying, "Hey, can she help us, or can he work on this project or product?" Because that means they have had very good experience working with them and one project or another, and that really helps us take care of run-of-the-mill business. It frees me up a little bit to work on cool things like with Abhi and Rajiv on the smart city platform, with Suraj on the SAM Analytic solution, Suraj Dharya and other members of the teams, Swayam and similarly for eBox chain, Yash is the key architect of the software platform that we run.
Okay.
So it allows me to engage with them more actively, and we are doing a lot of research and development as well.
Okay.
And these activities essentially allow us to not only stay on top of our game, but continue to serve a market that is currently not being ignored by big guys, because the utilities or the customers that we work with are smaller. They don't have the kind of budgets that big guys like Duke Energy can afford to. So we are able to come up with those creative solutions, and once it is deployed and solves a real problem, we are happy and excited. One very interesting problem recently we are working on is how to deter snakes from getting into electric substations.
Oh, okay.
Right? So that's a problem which would be very arcane to think you can come up with, but our team has really come up with very, led by Suraj, has really come up with innovative solutions designed by Rajiv.
Okay.
That is currently being deployed at a substation in Tennessee.
Okay.
So that gives us the high.
So how do you celebrate your milestones?
We celebrate our milestones by looking up for the next problem to solve, next challenge.
How do you explore the success you have already gained? How do you?
I think success is not really an end in itself. It's just yet another thing you feel happy and good about, and that gives you fuel to continue to the next one, to the goal. There's no success is not an end in itself. It's just an ongoing process, right? So we feel good. That's the ultimate thing.
So what advice would you give to the young entrepreneurs or the older ones who are coming into the field and joining at any time?
So a couple of things I see in the marketplace, especially a lot of young kids who are blindly going into computer science, computer programming, computer this, that, because they're thinking that we can get these big sign-up bonuses and big salaries, and in the process the core engineering is really not is kind of being left, and the demand and supply gap is widening there. A Bachelor of Arts or a Bachelor of Commerce can take 3 computer programming courses and can get a decent programming job. He or she was good. He or she cannot become an electrical engineer.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
An electrical engineer can become a computer
IT
programmer, an IT person. I'm one example of that, and there are several others. So I would say core engineering is still the way to go. If you want, definitely pursue few courses in IT, definitely do programming courses, definitely learn artificial intelligence and machine learning, and how they can enhance and apply your core engineering knowledge to make the overall system better. So focus first of all on training, and if you are interested in pursuing STEM, do not neglect core engineering. That'll be one piece of advice. Second, I think pursue your passion. Don't look at the immediate goal or immediate reward that you will get.
Yes.
And third thing is, I think, continue to learn every day. And if you stop learning, you will stop growing. And that should not be an afterthought, but it should be just part of your being.
Yes.
Because technology is so rapidly changing.
Yes, rapidly changing.
I am outdated tomorrow if I don't study what's going on.
Thank you very much for being part of Unfiltered Gup-Shup, and thank you everyone over there, and thank you very much.
Thank you, Aditi, and thank you to the fantastic team of lighting, camera, audio, everything. And I would like to especially thank two members of our team, Uma and Alex, who really helped us prepare for this Gup-Shup
Thank you.
podcast. Thank you.